I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And we are the Pop Culturists. And thanks to our lovely new friends at Bethesda Australia, we have been lucky enough to spend some time with not just Doom on the Nintendo Switch, but also the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch. So we thought we'd bring them together in the Bethesda bundle, in the Demons and Dragons, and talk about the two massive games that dropped in really close proximity to each other on this Nintendo device. Now, you, Josh, you spent majority of the time, well, you spent all the time with Doom.
Yeah.
I spent all the time with Skyrim. There were some rules that we did put in place, though. It's pretty straightforward. Don't dock it.
Handheld only for obvious reasons. I mean, if you're going to play Skyrim or Doom on your big screen TV, you'll probably be wanting to do that on a console because obviously they have taken certain steps to ensure that it works in handheld mode properly.
Yep.
And that does sacrifice a lot on the TV side of things.
Yeah, so for us it was pretty straightforward. It was like, all right, let's only play it in portable because that's what the quote-unquote novelty of these games is at this point. So we'll kick things off with Doom.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that came out the first.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish up with the Elder Scrolls.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much with Doom about, the story and all that.
Because these things are things that you should
It's well
know.
known by this point. Doom's been out for, a year at this point?
Year and a half, yeah.
So I want to talk about just how it performs and how it feels handheld mode. Now, performance-wise, they locked it at 30 frames.
Mm-hmm. Contrary to the 60 that you get on your PS4
now,
and
Doom
PCs.
is very heavily reliant on that smooth frame rate because of the style of the game. It is very fast-paced, very going forward, very action-packed, and 30 is sufficient for that. 30 is totally fine. While 60 may be better, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I personally don't notice a difference. I'm just not that kind of guy that looks that deep into it. So it is nice and smooth to play. It feels good to play.
Are there moments of chug? Like looking at Digital Foundry and that sort of stuff, like whenever it gets a little too intense, it just plummets in terms of the frame rate, as in you say 30 is fine, but apparently it plummets to
30 is fine. But as much as I said, it's locked at 30, maximum 30. It does certainly go a lot lower than that at certain points. There are times in Doom where the screen is fucked. It's packed with big demons, small demons. You've got projectiles coming at you. You've got a nice looking environment, and there are times where it does drop enough to be like, this is really difficult to get through at the moment. But when it works, it fucking works. And what they've done is obviously there's a little bit of motion blur in there because the resolution on handheld is 720.
It's dynamic as well.
It's dynamic up to 720, but a lot of the time it's running a fair bit lower than that. I think the lowest someone's recorded it at is 540. Obviously, depending how much, because they want to try to keep the frame rate steady at 30, so you will lose some of that dynamic resolution in order to keep the frame rate up. It doesn't always work though. But my biggest, while I had fun with it, and playing Doom handheld is fucking sweet, and it's cool, and it feels good. The Joy-Cons, not really up to the task. Especially I have small hands in comparison to you. Fucking look at that. That's a joke. I had a lot of trouble. Initially I thought I was having trouble just adjusting to playing an FPS on a not DualShock controller. Because, the DualShock has quite robust thumbsticks, and these are very...
And the big grips in the back
Big grips on the back. And I found the Joy-Cons, they're so small that I don't feel like they're really up to the task to play Doom as good as you'd be able to play it on a PlayStation. Now, there's no knock against it. It feels very, very different. To the point where there were times, because it's so frenetic, I'd actually start to get sore thumbs because they're so small, and you're pushing, instead of moving the joystick itself, you're pushing against the side of it.
This is something that we've noticed, especially with joysticks as the way they are these days. I used to always play, PS3, the domed always seemed the way to go. Concave is the way because it lets you get that pivot point. So what the problem that you're having is, rather than because they're domed, you've got nowhere to really grip. So you're pushing down the bottom,
and your thumb's
rather
sliding
than on top.
a lot over it. I found myself needing to readjust quite a bit to be able to grip it properly and get reset my thumbsticks, and especially when you start to get a bit sweaty, because I did play it a lot in the car as well because I'm a passenger at work and we spend a lot of time driving, so it's good. Needing to readjust a lot as well. Now I don't have a Pro controller to try it with, but I'm of the thought as well, if you're playing the Switch with a Pro controller, you're probably playing it docked on the TV. I don't really see much of a scenario to be playing it like this with a Pro controller. Do you?
Maybe on a flight.
Maybe. Yeah, possibly. But I'm talking just handheld, just with the Joy-Cons. I've tried taking the Joy-Cons out. I've tried them in that little grip dock you get for it. But the issue is the thumbsticks. There's not a lot of leeway in the triggers either. On the DualShock 4, you got a lot of press. I don't know what the word is. What's the word?
Lee did tell us in a comment for another video. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. So it is very. Yeah.
This is a very on-off. It's like bing, bing.
It takes some getting used to. Once I did get used to it, I did find my experience to be quite enjoyable. But I couldn't play it for large bursts just because it would really actually start to hurt my thumbs after a while. It's not the chill kind of game like Zelda, where there's a lot of just pushing, moving forward. You're going left and right, up and down. You're pivoting, and because that style of game it is. But the fact that it runs on the Switch at all is phenomenal, and not like Skyrim where it is a 6-year-old game. I know it is a remastered version anyway, but
We're into that.
Doom is a 1-year-old game. It's still quote unquote new, and to get it running on the Switch is amazing. I just didn't find it the ideal way to play this particular game, which is unfortunate because I was super psyched and I did enjoy my time with it, but just the Joy-Cons kind of ruined the experience.
So your issue is not with the game itself. Your issue is with the Switch.
The frame rate drops were pretty few and far between. It did happen here and there, but not consistently enough to go, I can't fucking play this anymore. It happens, and it happens on PS4 with certain I was playing Horizon, the Frozen Wilds, and I did get a few frame rate drops there too. They happen in games.
So taking aside the hardware as a piece of software.
Yeah. Cool. It runs fine. It's great. And I do want to try it with your Pro Controller at some point to see if that kind of changes my way, how it feels. But yeah, the fact they got it running is amazing. It does suffer some frame rate drops. It happens. But the ideal way to play this, I would say, would be docked with the Pro Controller, simply because the Joy-Cons just don't quite do it. Mm-hmm. That's my thought.
Is the soundtrack...
That's not the soundtrack. That person that just shouted outside. Soundtrack's fine.
No, as in is it still the same punch?
No, because the speakers aren't obviously, they're not great speakers in the Switch. They're good, and you hear the soundtrack. It's still chunky and all that, but you don't get that deep bass that the Doom soundtrack has playing through a TV or a soundbar. But I did play with headphones for a fair bit too. I have quite good headphones as well. And then you start hearing it, but the default speakers they're good.
Yeah,
they do the job.
So it sounds like so it's not an issue with the game itself. You're just having problems with the hardware.
Yeah, and not even the hardware itself. Just literally these joysticks. It runs.
No, I mean the speakers, that sort of stuff.
It runs acceptably. The speakers are fine. It's just the Joy-Cons just are really difficult to enjoy this game with.
Well, I had a much better experience. So, essentially, what they've done is they've managed to compact Elder Scrolls V Skyrim into portable, into this little thing. Yeah. So, what from looking into it, what they're doing is they are running the special edition released last October, but with some minor adjustments. Now, as we said, we played this. Well, I played it entirely in portable mode. It runs at a dynamic 720 as well, with an actual lock 30, literally lock 30. I've had no performance issues in the slightest. It is just butter. Previously when I played it on PS3, for the first time, I was having shit PS3 all the time.
Was the worst.
It was I was having such a horrible experience. This is fantastic.
That's good to hear.
And the whole idea of with the resolution, it's running a low resolution. I don't give a shit.
No,
because the density on this screen is beautiful. It actually looks crisp. It looks bright. It looks vibrant.
720 on this screen is always incredible.
Yeah, it's 720 screen.
It's amazing.
It's 720 on a big 50-inch TV. Yeah, you'll see problems. Jam it into a 6-inch screen. It's fantastic. There are some things where you start to sort of see a bit of its weakness. As I said, because it is running last year's remastered edition, so it has a lot of the foliage and the sort of additional stuff. There are some things that are missing, like the volumetric lighting, which is pretty much the God rays and stuff, and sort of that weird, not weird. It's kind of the lighting blooms and stuff to make it a really nice lighting. So though they're scaled down, they're there, just scaled down. Draw distance can be a little bit of an issue because obviously it's doing what it can to give you the best up close experience.
Plus, also, I'd imagine being on the size of that screen, draw distance isn't that too important.
Yes, that's correct. I'm talking in terms
that.
of pop in and whatnot. Like,
Yeah, okay.
when you're standing really close in proximity, there's a lot of really cool like foliage. Like, it's really vibrant, and I keep saying the same words over and over because it's hard to explain. But like, when you walk out of a cave, there's trees and there's bushes and there's animals. And
You're getting real sensual.
yeah, and I'm getting fucking sexy with it. And then you look into the distance and it's flat. Like,
Okay,
it's
right.
flat green hill. And like, but then there's also the big cityscapes in the background as well. Like, everyone knows, but it's when you walk out of Helgen at the start of it and you look over and you see Whiterun and you see Dragon's Reach in the distance, I'm like,
Damn, they did it.
and like, what is the most insane thing about this? If you told me 6 years ago, one, that you can still play Skyrim, and two, that I'll be able to play it
In bed.
on the toilet, on the train, on the toilet, on my couch while my wife watches some poop show.
On the toilet again.
On the toilet again. I would have been like, hey, you got really fat in the future. Two, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, there's this device and you're able to play Skyrim portably.
So, bouncing off the issue I had with Doom with the Joy-Cons. How do they go?
It's because it doesn't require the same like finesse and accuracy, I guess, that you would need in Doom and like the quick movement. I've never really had too much of a problem. Like, I do find they're not as accurate as in like there is the whole, like 360 sort of movement, but I find it a little jarring, a little janky. But that, I think that's purely because of the controller. I don't think, if I'm playing with the Pro controller, wouldn't have an issue.
Yeah, okay.
But it in no way did it actively take away from the game for me. There are some Switch exclusive little tweaks and
Mario armor set?
things. No, it's a Zelda Mario set.
Zelda Mario set?
Yeah. Sorry, a
What?
Zelda amiibo set is what I was meant to say.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
So you tap your Zelda amiibo, a little chest will pop up, you'll get the tunic, you'll get the Master Sword, you'll get the Hyrulean Shield.
Hat?
I don't think you get a hat.
I have Zelda amiibos at home.
Oh, what?
I do.
Can't borrow your Zelda amiibo?
No, because then it'll lock me out of it if I ever get it again.
No, it doesn't block anything. It just goes
doesn't
bing, and then it goes.
I didn't know if they're like one time.
Yeah, it's one-time thing. So once a day you can do it. So
Okay.
you go into like the power section, where your shouts and all that sort of are, and it goes, "Hey, one of your shouts is an amiibo," and you go bing, and the little chest will pop up. Crack it open. Now you can get the tunic as often as you want. The Master Sword and the shield, I believe, are once-offs. So if you happen to drop it and lose it, guess what? You ain't getting it back.
Oh, shit. What about with like, do you know if you got multiple Zelda amiibos? Because I got like 4.
I think there is only the one drop. Now, I know other amiibos will do other drops. So you can get bing and like you'll have a series of chests, but the big novelty is the Zelda. Now you can find it in the world by itself.
Okay.
It's at the throat of the world and the big top height, once you're like past High Hrothgar, where all the greybeards are. Keep going up, you'll find a briefcase. You'll find a chest there, so you can still get it even if you don't have them.
That's
which
rad.
is really
That's
cool. The motion controls are involved in the game, so you can do archery with it. I found that not quite as responsive as, say, the VR, which I've been playing as well, Skyrim VR. The lock picking is fun as F. Now,
I hear the HD rumble really like.
the HD rumble, because something that the VR version is missing is you're not physically controlling the things. With this, you are.
Okay.
So you're feeling the HD rumble is giving that nice kind of feedback. You need to be able to move that bit and the other bit, the sword, like the little knife bit and the hook bit.
Yeah.
So you're feeling you get to actually physically do the motion, and that part's
That's
fun.
cool. I like that.
It's got very basic sort of shield and sword usage, which is fine. I've not predominantly, I've not played it using the Joy-Con not attached to screen mode. I forget what it's called. So for me, it's been pretty much stuck to the screen, playing in handheld, doing it like this. I as someone that owns Skyrim now 6 different ways, aside from VR, I'm probably gonna spend a lot of time playing it here. Like, the portability aspect of it is what makes it. Because Skyrim is so huge. So huge. And I can't... My wife would not let me sit down and just throw myself into the PS4.
Yeah.
I try, but she won't let me.
I'm close to the plat on PS4.
But this gives me the option to, play it in a couple of different ways. Like we're still on the couch together watching stuff. I'm just plonking away. I'm doing
What race are you?
Oh, I tried something different actually as well.
Yeah.
So
What do you normally do?
Normally I play Dark Elf.
Oh.
I've been a Dark Elf since Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to try an Argonian.
Okay.
For no real reason.
Listen, man.
Yeah, they play pretty much the same.
Oh, they play the same, yeah. But like what? What are you doing? You melee and shield, magic?
So I've literally gone the same as normal, which is heavy armor, sword and shield, with a little bit of destruction magic and a little bit of restoration.
What's the experimentation?
The experimentation's happened with VR.
Okay.
We'll get into probably in another video.
Yeah.
Because I think that deserves its big full-blown review as well.
So you rate it?
Hell
yeah.
The only thing that's really tough about it, and I think Doom might be the same, it's expensive. Stupidly expensive. Like, it is $80.
Yeah.
You can now buy the special edition for your PS4 for $30.
Yeah.
So that is the biggest detriment, is the price, but I don't feel that is an issue with Bethesda, and I think that's entirely a Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo are pretty stern on their prices.
They know people will pay it.
People will pay it.
Yeah.
Like if you do decide to pay it, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
It runs so well. It's exactly Skyrim in its best way possible, jam packed into something you can put in your pocket.
Sweet.
I effing love it. It's brought me back into Skyrim in a bad way. It's only bad because I'm gonna have to delete it.
Why?
Because I'm gonna be living in it. I can't. Like I said, playing it in
Gee,
VR.
Ryan, what's your game of the year?
Skyrim again. Now we should also mention as well, with Skyrim, it's not so bad. It's only about 15 gigs. It's not going to take a big dent out of your storage. However, Doom is 22 gig.
9 gig of that is the multiplayer component,
which you cannot separate it. So I'd recommend getting SD cards to be able to play these as well.
Yeah.
And as we move into the future with these bigger games coming, like Wolfenstein 2 coming early next year, I think it really benefits from having that SD card because you're gonna need it. These games are huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't recommend Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch any higher. Josh enjoyed himself with Doom.
Doom is good. You will enjoy it if you like Doom. Just be wary of how it physically plays.
But once again, thank you so much to the team here at Bethesda and ZeniMax here in Australia, and Ethan from Technology and Gaming for making that connection happen. We truly appreciate
for sure.
you guys helping us out make content. It's fantastic. It's been great to sort of delve into Bethesda games once again. But anyway, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And that was our review of Doom and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch.
Demons and Dragons.
I'm going to play it right now.
That'd make a sweet campaign, actually.
What, Demons and Dragons?
Demons and Dragons.
Wasn't that Oblivion?
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that music. Oh, the music. It pulls me right back in. Fuck, we have to buy it.